Hello, Unified Champion School liaisons. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to fill out our new midterm report. It looks a little different than in years previous, but we hope that this will make it super easy for you to write down all of the great things you've been up to for this first half of the year. So with that being said, this report is due on January 15th of 2024, and this report will reflect your numbers from August of 2023 till December of 2023. So if you're submitting this on January 14th, do not count anything you've done that first week or so back to school. Only count anything you did from August 2023 to December 2023. So this is what the midterm will look like. We are going to be hosting office hours on November 15th at 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. to walk you through this report. Or if you're watching this, you've already done number 2. You're watching this tutorial video on how to complete it. So what you'll be doing is you'll be filling out anything that is highlighted in yellow or that is a chart. So you're going to come here and fill in your school name, your email, and the county that your school is located in. Then you can just check which box best describes your school. If you're a Head Start program, a pre-K program, but not Head Start, an elementary building, a middle building, or a high building. If you're something like a pre-K through 8, feel free to select multiple. As you scroll down, similar to the budget form, this report will be broken up into the 3 components of Unified Champion Schools. So your first component, you'll be reporting on all of your unified sports activity for the first half of the year. As a reminder, our athletes are students that participated in Unified with an intellectual or developmental disability, where Unified partners are students without a disability. In the Special Olympics world, there are 3 different forms of play. We have recreational, where it's very informal, there's no routine practices, it's just sporadic here and there experiences. Field days, Fun Friday bocce, we're just playing in a recreational format. Player development is where your unified partners have a higher skill level and are assisting athletes. So it's less playing as teammates, more that your unified partners are helping your athletes. Then in competitive, both of your unified partners and athletes are at a similar skill level in the given sport. If you have 2 teams, maybe you have a competitive basketball team and have some recreational experiences, feel free to list them separately below. We're going to include young athletes, unified fitness, unified PE, all as unified sports, along with any other unified sports you play, like unified basketball, unified soccer. So this top part just gives you information to prepare you for what you're going to fill in here on this chart. Because as I mentioned, you're filling in anything that is highlighted yellow or is a chart. So here's where you would list your sports. You would write unified basketball. You're going to decide based on these definitions above which form of play it is. I would say most people, it's probably going to be pretty recreational, but don't think too hard about the 3 different forms of play. Your best guess based on these definitions is great. Then you're going to let us know of your athletes that competed. So your students with disabilities, how many were female? Maybe you had 5. How many male athletes? Then we're counting our unified partners. Maybe we had 6 female unified partners and 2 male unified partners. And this is just on average. You know, we know that not every student is showing up every time you have a unified basketball practice, game, or experience. So just on average, what are your student numbers that are involved? Then you're going to let us know how many practices you had. If it's more recreational, we can just count those as practices. So maybe you played once a week, every week for 7 weeks. So you had 7 practices. And then you organized 2 games with local schools around you, or maybe you came to our developmental sports tournaments, or you came to a regional games. So practices are any of those recreational different experiences. Games are somewhere where you organized against another team at a different school, at a tournament, something like that. Then you're going to let us know how many male coaches you had that are certified in some way through Special Olympics. and then how many female coaches. So maybe they've done some online training, they've come to the summer conference. Again, don't think too hard about it. If you have male coaches or female coaches with training that were running your unified sports, just let us know. Okay, maybe I'm at a school that does unified basketball for our older students. Maybe I'm in elementary school and our 4th and 5th graders play unified basketball, but our kindergartners do young athletes. I would write that in. Young athletes is recreational. And I had 4 female athletes, 2 male athletes, 5 female unified partners, and 6 male unified partners on average. There's really no formal games in young athletes. So really, we did it for 10 weeks. So we had 10 practices or 10 experiences. And then we have 1 male adult in our school that runs our young athletes program. If there are other sports you do, keep it going until you've counted all your sports. So if you also did unified soccer in the fall, fill that out. If you do unified PE or unified gym class, include that in here. So you're listing all the unified sports, you're telling us which mode of play it is, counting up your athletes and partners by gender, letting us know how many practices or experiences, how many actual games or competition, and then if you have coaches. You don't need to fill in all these boxes. These are just available for you in case you're doing a ton of sports in your school. Then your last question is, let us know which age range best describes the students participating in unified sports from your school. Please select only one. So just the one that best describes. Pick one of these age ranges that describes the students you just filled in up here. Okay, and that's the whole unified sports section. So you're really telling us what sports you played, how many athletes and partners and their genders, and how many times you did it. And then we're scrolling down to the whole school engagement section. So that second component of Unified Champion Schools. Remember, the whole school engagement component is where you're reaching the rest of the school building with inclusion awareness. So before we dive into that, you're going to let us know about how many total students attend your school. And then letting us know of those 700 students in your school, you're giving us a percentage of student population of these different races. Again, this is of your entire student body, not just students participating in Unified, and it's just a rough approximate percentage. So total number of students that attend your school and a breakdown in percent that tells us their different ethnicities and backgrounds. Then we dive into a little bit more specific unified content here of selecting all that apply of which whole school opportunities that you implemented. So if you did more than one, feel free to select more than one. If there's something else you did that is not listed on this list, please fill in anything else you did under the other section. So select all that apply. If you also did other, please let us know what you did. And then how many whole school engagements were held in this first half of the year? Maybe 1, maybe 2. That's great. So how many whole school engagements were held? Okay, 2 out of 3 components done. Then we just have the last one of inclusive youth leadership. So as a reminder, this component is students with and without intellectual and developmental disabilities leading in your school buildings together. This looks different at our elementaries versus our high schools. So any way that you're getting students together to build relationships with one another, build friendships, spread inclusion, lead, make decisions with one another, all of that stuff counts. So again, you're selecting all that apply of the opportunities provided to students to lead inclusively. So if you had a youth activation committee, a unified club, unified readers club with those inclusive books, letting students take the reins on planning your whole school engagements or leading unified sports in some way. If you have a peer-to-peer or links program, that definitely counts for this component. If you attended our leadership launches, again, select all that apply, but if there's other things you did too, feel free to fill it in and let us know. And then similarly to above, you're just going to let us know how many female athletes were involved in your leadership activities, how many male athletes, how many female unified partners, and how many male unified partners. Again, this is just on average. We also ask how many times have there been inclusive leadership opportunities. So to calculate this, you could let us know how many number of YAC meetings you had, or unified club sessions, or links opportunities, how many times your unified pairs led an activity at school together, anything like that. So the best you can, count up how many times you think there's been inclusive leadership opportunities among students with and without disabilities in your school. And then this little last section is just kind of a little other. So if you do unified art, unified robotics, or unified esports, we'd like to know how many times students participated in unified art, and then on average, how many students participated in it. So maybe you have a unified art class that happens once a week for 15 weeks. So it happened 15 times, and there are 30 students in that class. So you have 15 times that students participated, and there were 30 students involved. And then maybe your school doesn't do robotics or unified esports, so you can leave them blank if you did not participate. And that is the whole midterm report. So it goes through those 3 components. You let us know what you did for each, and then you can download this and email it to your Unified Champion Schools coordinator. This is what helps us to continue to renew our grant funding to be able to continue to provide it to you all. So this is super important that we are able to accurately report all of the great things that you're doing in your school. So we really appreciate you taking the time to fill this out. This year, we will not be allowing any second semester, second half of the year spending to happen until we have this report back. Like I said, it's just really important that we're accurately reporting these numbers and data to our grant holders so they have a good idea of all the great things that their money is going towards in your school buildings. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to let your Unified Champion Schools coordinator know. We're here to help. Thanks so much.